Hello guys, today we're talking about how you may have been inspired by these anime characters when you watch the show, and I definitely know I was. So I kind of wanted to make a little video about like what kind of traits and stuff like that I feel like are very common in anime characters that I feel like draw a lot of people to these shows and these series to watch them, and kind of like sometimes it really changes their lives. So first, getting into it, I feel like there's a good example of the main characters in such animes as One Piece, My Hero Academia, Jujutsu Kaisen. All of these kind of like mainstream popular ones are popular for a reason, and I feel like this is like kind of my opinions on why I feel like people are being like so drawn to these characters and the values that these shows kind of give people, the value that these shows kind of give people. So let's get right into it. I'm excited to make this video because personally I was very like affected by the animes when I first started watching them. I'm not gonna lie guys, I was a hater. I didn't necessarily hate on anime, I just didn't really see what was in it for people. I didn't really see what people got from it, and I was a little bit on the side of like I didn't really judge it, but because I kind of watched some, like Spy Family was a comfort show of mine, and I kind of started dabbling in it like that way, as in like I thought like I was always really an artsy person, and I really thought that it was kind of cool, but I didn't really get like the gist of why people were so attracted to it. And I started watching Demon Slayer a long time ago, and I immediately shut that shit down. Like I was like, what the, I don't even know what to think about this. It's so different. That was one of like the traits that I definitely had to change to kind of adapt to be able to watch anime, is that like I judged anything new, and that was on my bad, like that was my fault. But I definitely judged anything new that I came across, and some things I adapted well to, some things I didn't. Obviously I ended up growing and definitely began to love Spy Family more, and then we kind of cracked into the world of like My Hero, and it all kind of took off from there. I made the other video of how I think Izuku Midoriya was kind of a good representation of what some might say like manifesting or going for the impossible in your life. And if you guys really like that kind of, like this kind of content, you should definitely go check that one out. I really am passionate about like I am really passionate about Izuku Midoriya's character in general. So that one definitely, like, go watch me rant on there about him, because I had a lot of things to say about his. I have a lot of things to say about like these just animes in general that I feel like are definitely like, they're so beautiful, they're so amazing, they're put together kind of like so well. They have their ooh moments, like they have their little cringy moments. There's definitely some like fan service or whatnot in them. Some of them that, you know, sometimes it's really bad, sometimes it's not, sometimes it's bearable, and sometimes, you know, it is not. But I still have my personal times where I start watching a show and I can't really like watch it because of that kind of stuff. So I totally understand if like you only like the few that you watch, but there are definitely a lot that have so much value for like, I feel like in general, and you can take away the value from it. So I'll stop rambling about how much I love anime. We're gonna jump right into the first one. I feel like a lot of the main, especially main characters, but anime is famous for the side stories. Like the side stories of just random characters they throw in throughout the show that it becomes a whole new thing. Like that's a whole topic that I kind of want to touch on in a different video that I really like about anime, and why I feel like a lot of people like underestimate that part about it, but it ends up being like some of the most influential parts, which is a very interesting topic if you look at it like that. But the fact that they're not there for that and stuff like that. So one of the first things I wanted to touch on about these characters in the animes, Luffy, Izuku Midoriya, Black Clover, Asta, we're talking about like some of the main characters. You can definitely say that other characters in the show, like I said before, kind of like show this, and that's why a lot of people love those characters as well. But like if we're talking about, you know, Yuji and oh, why am I blanking on the Demon Slayer? Oh my god, he's like one of my favorites, so this is really weird. But like Izuku Midoriya, that kind of thing, Asta, the drive that they have is uncomparable. Like, these characters have so much drive, no matter if they're, no matter if they are in a good state in their life or a bad state. I feel like sometimes people look at these characters as having like toxic positivity, but I don't think it's like the worst kind of toxic positivity. They just show positivity in general. So Tanjiro, that is who it is. Oh my god. Tanjiro, he is the GOAT. I feel like moving on to the topic, that was kind of like me, my bad. I literally forgot him, and then I was like, it was making me so sad because I love Tanjiro. I feel like he has just this deep layer, and like I said, this positivity surrounding him that is like unmatched compared to everybody else. Like, the Tanjiro effect is definitely real. That's one of the things I love about his character. I feel like it's so hard to, at least in my opinion, find a different character that I like in that show as much as him. Not saying I don't love the other characters. I love the other characters. But one of the things about Tanjiro especially, and I feel like Rengoku kind of has the same vibe about him that people love, is the positivity, the drive. They are unmatched with any other, like, it's like in life, you strive to have that drive and positivity. To look at things like that throughout your life is going to get you places you would never even imagine. And it is definitely something that I feel like at least attract me to these shows. The positivity that this character, the keep, like, getting up and keep going, the drive and the positive drive that they have is just great. I feel like it's a good example of how you should go through life. Whether you're talking about the gym, working out, eating healthy, doing better things for yourself, or just being more adventurous, these are lessons that I feel like we can take from these, and we do take from these, and one of the reasons we keep going back and watching these shows. Asta definitely has that in him. He's got that drive. He's always, like, positive. He could be fucking, like, thrown out into a ditch with no home or anything, and this man's just walking around like, oh my god, I'm gonna become the Wizard King, and that's it. Like, I'm still, like, you give him nothing, and he's still sitting there like, I have everything I need to do what I need. Like, same with, like, Luffy and everything. I feel like, guys, I just started watching One Piece, and I am in love already. My hero was definitely my One Piece of, like, the anime crowd. I know a lot of people start watching One Piece, and that's how they start liking anime. But mine was my hero, and I definitely, like, the thing about these characters is, like, they're so unique to each other. They each have their own thing, but they definitely carry these traits that I'm going to touch upon in here. And I think that's what kind of makes them so magnetic, and you want to follow the show so much. Now, like I said, a lot of side characters have these traits too, so keep that in mind because, you know, the main character of the series is not always my favorite main character either. Like, Yuji Itadori is not exactly my favorite main character. Sorry, guys. I'm stuttering so much. Maybe I just need to, like, take a chill pill and sit down. I don't know. I just really love, like, these, like, talking about this kind of subject. So you get me. The nerds get it. Anyways, what was I saying? Yuji Itadori is definitely, like, a good example of it too, but he is not my favorite in the show. I'm just gonna be honest. So, the inner dialogue of anime. I feel like this is not talked about a lot also. This is a very different thing from American television and stuff like that I feel like we don't get in those shows that we love so much in anime. You are constantly hearing, like, the main characters and other people in the shows, like, inner dialogue. So what I see a lot is, like, what I don't think people recognize a lot is that being said, all of the characters that you like, if you probably really look at their character dynamic and how they're, like, set up and everything, and how the series moves them along. They're very reflective. Everyone in anime has this reflective side to them that I feel like attracts people to these characters. And it's because, like, they're genuinely meditative, they're reflective, they're thinking about the things, their goals, motivations, dreams a lot, and they're also being in the present a lot. So they're showing a lot of interest towards what they're doing in the moment. Like, they really know how to focus. Now, some people definitely can't. Like, I have a little bit of ADHD myself. But this is definitely a very fascinating trait, and an admired trait in anime. I can't talk today. An admired trait in anime that people really like. And if you really think about it, they're kind of like sitting there thinking everything through. They are looking at their life like a freaking like video game. Like, they're looking at their life like a puzzle that they need to figure out. Because their life is kind of like driven by their goals and ambitions. And when you're like, if you've ever experienced that before, and you've ever had time to just be kind of like alone by yourself in a few days to like reflect as you're going through your motions throughout your day, and you start looking at like your life like a video game per se, if you have ever done that and experienced that, which I know like you probably can think of a moment where you have, especially if you like go to the gym or something like that, or you have a goal you're working towards, it is such a great feeling. Like, that feeling right there is what we want to be in like the whole time. Some people call it flow state. I feel like it's just really focusing in on the goals and stuff you want, and having like this, I guess, like, yeah, you go into like this flow state of like, oh, I know exactly what I need to do, and I'm going to do it no matter what it takes. I'm going to actually go to the gym today. I'm going to make myself go, and even if I don't want to, I need to for myself and my goals. And I'm going to take these aligned actions to get to where I want. And you're also very focused on, like, I talk about a lot your whys, which is another thing we're going to go into. So what a why is like a thing, a reason per se, I would say, that you're going for your goals and dreams. Like, what is your why? Is it because you want to be like the person who really your family can depend on? Is that what fulfills you and gives you like deep meaning in your life? Is it being a hero and saving like a bunch of people, and you know, like, that is your purpose in your life, being there for other people, aka Zuka Midoriya? Is it, you know, the fact that you just genuinely want the best for everyone so much that you're willing to, like, put yourself through something so that other people don't suffer? I feel like that's a UG reference. He's definitely that kind of guy in JJK where he's like, I can't sit by and just watch this happen, right? Or are you a person that's really driven because you love your friends, your family, and you genuinely want to be that person that people can come to for support, and you can be able to support them? Like, this is personally like one of my favorite. Very toxically, I think Eren is an example of this from Attack on Titan. He is literally dead set, driven, focused on the people he cares about and them being safe and loved. And to the extent where kind of, you know, like, you could argue it goes south for him, but you know, in the ending, he may or may not have done what he wanted, fulfilled what he wanted. That's a whole nother thing right there. But that he is a good example of a why too. Like, the reason that Eren went through all that and did all that and literally would not let anybody stop him from doing what he thought was right is his why. Like, that is because of his why. Because he had such a strong thing. Like the saying, set your heart ablaze, from Demon Slayer that Rengoku gives us, is very much a reflection of really focusing and getting that why to put your actions into alignment with your goals. Your heart really knows like what you want to do and everything. And I may be getting like soft or whatever in this, like really deep in this, but I really do think that's something about anime that we really are like attracted to when we watch it. The passion that people have because of their why. So I really like took some time to think about this once I realized that was why I kept coming back to like these animes and everything. And what was actually helping me, like for me, it was going to the gym and being more healthy for myself and everything, because I knew that my body needed to be able to be in prime state for what I wanted and for my why. So that's kind of like something that I really think isn't talked about a lot in anime that we're very attracted to because these characters show us that, right? So I feel like then this travels over into my next point, which is another big one in anime, consistency. Like it kind of goes into the fact that they won't stop at anything to do what they're supposed to do or do what they want to be king of the pirates, to be wizard king. All of that is like built on consistency because they have this why, which kind of goes into like the why and what I was talking about there. Why it's so like important to have that reason is because it makes it easier to be more consistent. So it's kind of like this big snowball effect of like realizing, having the inner dialogue, what you want, realizing your why and what is your reason of being, you know, your purpose. And then they kind of go into boom, you're going to be like, well, I guess next you would say is like action, which I'm going to touch upon after. But then comes like the consistency. And being consistent, even in the times where you're stagnant, is definitely what these characters portray that I love about anime so much too. Like, even if they have to go on these side quests, and it seems like it doesn't have anything to do with their goals in the future or their purpose, they're still gonna do it. They're still gonna put in the effort and the work. And like even in One Piece, you can see Luffy really, like, if he gets sidetracked, he really is still present with these little side quests that may not seem insignificant. He's willing, and a lot of it is like kindness towards people, right? Tanjiro, Yuji, showing kindness, being a good person to other people, and like genuinely being in the moment for that person. And you know what? Most of the time, it ends up working out in the end for them because something, it just like magical happens and comes about. And that's kind of how like you genuinely have to look at life, is like everything has a reason and a purpose, right? And these characters, like, they're so like connected with their intuition sometimes that they just do this on the regular. It's called being authentic. Like when you're being truly authentic and a kind person and just really doing what you feel like you need to do in the moment, in the present, and being like there in the present for those people, it's gonna work out for you. Like you will, before you even know it, and this is a good example that they give us in animes a lot, you're like getting a new person for your crew on your pirate ship, you know? You may not even saw anything in this person at first, but then you get to know them and you get to see what they have to offer just because you took a little bit of time to be present with them. And boom, all of a sudden you have like this new genuine like friend. Or sometimes it works out for the best. Sometimes you actually, you know, by being present with that person in the moment, you find out they are not for you. They're not supposed to be in your life, and you kind of got to throw them out because, or just like not really pay attention to them or whatnot, because they're not meant to be there in that moment. Otherwise, you would have had them there, and then they were kind of like giving you this like bad mojo, or whatever you would say, you know? And I feel like this definitely is kind of what it shows you about like really sticking to like your gut and everything in animes with these main characters and these characters in animes in general. They stick to their gut. They do kind of like these almost sometimes impulsive decisions, and almost never do you see like that if you get what you get it, you get it, that like Four Eyes character who doesn't go by his gut or his intuition, they're always kind of like put in their place or kind of like shown to you that that way is not the best way to look at things. But there is like a level of reasoning that sometimes these delusional characters, the main characters, have, that, you know, that Four Eyes character will bring into their life that they do need. So it's not like they have everything figured out and they're perfect. It's just that they really have the skills and the childness of like what we miss as we go into like adulthood. And I feel like that's why we're really attracted to like anime in general too, is like it's so imaginatory. It's so like child and playfulness sometimes that we genuinely miss when we start getting hit with all of our adult like jobs and everything like that, just adulthood, that sometimes we forget and we leave by the wayside, that we think that we don't really need it anymore, and we do. Like your imagination is like a huge part in like your purpose and everything moving forward in your life. And to truly be happy and get what you want about out of life, it's going to need some childish imagination. That's personally just a belief that I have, and I've discovered that I need it in my life, and also that these anime characters definitely implemented in theirs that got them to their dreams and goals. Now, I think the last part is a good part and to say for like the last segment, because it's definitely like what a lot of these animes are about. Sometimes it's action towards your goals. So there's definitely a sweet spot around taking like action on your goals and dreams. You don't want to be sitting there doing nothing. Like the main characters in animes are never doing that. And they're, again, like I said, a good example of taking purposeful action in your life. So, some of them, yeah, they really do be doing anything they want to. Like, they're just instinctively going. But maybe that's just how their journey is accelerating and how in touch with their intuition that character is, you know. But to be able to get to their goals, you need to take action. Like, to be able to get to any goals you have in life, you have to take action, but not all action is right action. And some characters learn this lesson in animes, I've noticed. Not all action is going to lead you to where you want to. Sometimes it's going to teach you hard lessons, and it's going to put you in places where you're like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Like, that's a thing that next time I'm going to reflect and be like, and you see this a lot in animes, where they do something and it doesn't turn out for the best, and what do? They don't just sit there or like go home or whatever. They're sitting there, and the next time that they get to a point where they have this challenge again, they're like, oh shit, oh, I know what step to take, I know where to go, I already went past that, I've learned my lesson in this, and I am going to go forward knowing that I'm taking the right action, right? So there's definitely, that's kind of like that reflective side of them, the inner dialogue that it shows us in anime to help them take action, the right kind of action. And in life, yeah, you're always going to have to like learn lessons and everything. But I feel like the action that these characters take, you can tell when it's good and when it's bad, and when it's supposed to happen and when they just made a decision impulsively. And if you really look at it, you'll see like little things that, yeah, you're like, oh yeah, when you're watching these shows, I mean, your intuition's like, your gut's like, damn, like this is gonna happen and it's gonna be, you know, great. Like he's gonna do this and this person is gonna like become friends with him and they're gonna align. Just because you see like, wow, I know right away that character is compatible. And because that character is always like taking intuitive action, he's like, oh yeah, like I'm curious about this guy. And you see this character go on, the main character go on like a journey of finding out what this guy's about. And before you know it, he's helping him with his journey and goal. You know, that's kind of like how it goes. Like, so that's a good example of how like taking purposeful action is going to get you it's such a long ways than just impulsively being busy. You know, if you're just trying to be busy, it's not really going to get you anywhere really. It's when you take action based on like your gut and thinking about your why that is going to align intuitively with like where you want to go. Now, on the other hand, you, like I said, you don't see these characters just sitting around either. You see the characters in the anime that are sitting around, and usually there's an example made out of them of why you don't want to be like that character, right? Bakugo, I feel like, is a good impulsive one. He's always taking like these impulsive actions, and you know, sometimes it works out for the good, sometimes it doesn't. Like, he's a good character to kind of like reflect on how he's like very impulsive, and sometimes it gets him in like these sticky situations. The slime monster, see what I did there? Yeah. Anyways, yeah, but taking like aligned action and knowing when to slow down. A lot of them have to learn, especially the really passionately driven ones. You know, they got to learn to slow down. But then it's still like some of the reasons you love anime so much, because they're still like willing to get up and drive and do the work. But if you notice, it really does show you through other characters that kind of like guide them and help them throughout it, where they're like, bro, you just got your arm chopped off. Like, there's a hole in your stomach right now. Maybe you go home and like relax on the couch for a little bit. Maybe you need to retire for the day. Like, take it from Nanami. Just work the 9 to 5 today. Go home, man. But I feel like that's a good, like, it really does show you, like, sometimes you're supposed to take action. Sometimes you're in a space where you're waiting to take action, but it's still doing something. Maybe you just need time to, like, reflect. Like, you see these characters take the break, and then all of a sudden they are, like, having this revelation. And, you know, just in general, these are a few things, like, if you really think about these points that I'm saying, it really is probably a reason that you're being drawn to like these animes. Some of the lessons that they teach and the values they hold that you really hit home sometimes, especially because we can hear that inner dialogue in the animes. I feel like it just makes them like some of the best pieces of content for me to watch, to like, I don't know, it fulfills like a soul thing in me. Like, it's just like, you know, it's like that trend where everybody's like, when you sit down to watch anime, like, instead of going to the gym, and then the next thing you know, they're getting up and going to the gym. I love that trend because that literally happened to me when I started watching anime. I'm like, why? I haven't gone to the gym in years. Like, why do I feel like I need to get up right now and like freaking push a boulder across the road? Like, you know, go out and help somebody. Like, I just feel like they genuinely do have value in them, and it's a reason why we're very attracted to them. And the moment you realize that you can implement these kind of things into your life as well is the moment that your life, I genuinely feel like, is going to have so much more meaning. The moment you realize that you need like your why and all the things that these shows kind of show us and have like wisdom in, I feel like it's just awesome that people are really getting into these shows more and watching these shows. Like I said, I'm very new to like the anime scene, and I have not watched all the popular shows yet. You know, I've watched most of them, but I'm getting through them slowly, guys. So hang in there. If I don't make content on a particular show you watch or want me to make content on, that might be because I'm watching it or going through it right now. But always feel free to leave a comment down below on what characters or what topics you really want me to dive into more like this, because I love doing this. This is like a passion project of mine now that I started it, and I'm not gonna stop. So make sure to tune in for more. I really hope that you guys love this video, and if you did, give it a like and subscribe for the next content I'm going to make like this. I feel like I haven't seen many other channels out there talking about anime and stuff like this like I do, so I really wanted to bring it like into the world and put it out there. And if it's your vibe, like I said, join the community, subscribe down below, and keep smashing your goals. Felt really weird doing that. I was trying to do like Detroit Smash, like Izuku Midoriya. But yeah, I felt a little like, doing that. But anyways, keep smashing your goals. You can do it. Go out there, get the shit that you want done. Make sure you have purpose behind it, and I will see you next time.